Ever been let down by a car that promised the moon but delivered a pebble? You're not alone. In this video, we're counting down the top 7 hypercars that talked big but walked small. From unbreakable windows that broke to engines that couldn't even start, these rides prove that sometimes the hype train derails spectacularly. Let's kick things off with a company that's no stranger to bold claims. Tesla. Remember when Elon Musk unveiled the Cybertruck? He promised us the truck of the future, complete with unbreakable windows and even rain-clearing lasers, instead of boring old windshield wipers. Well, reality had other plans. During the big reveal event, Tesla decided to show off those supposedly unbreakable windows. What happened next? You guessed it. They shattered. Not once, but twice. Talk about a cringeworthy moment. But wait, there's more! The Cybertruck's specs took a nosedive too. Tesla initially boasted about a maximum payload capacity of 3,500 pounds. Impressive, right? Well, the actual number turned out to be just 2,500 pounds. That's a whole 1,000 pounds less than promised. And what about that futuristic range? Tesla claimed the Cybertruck could go a whopping 500 miles on a single charge. The reality? Even with an extra battery pack, it only manages about 400 miles. I guess those extra 100 miles got lost in the hype machine. You know what's really funny? Tesla's marketing team might be wishing they had those rain-clearing lasers right about now. Not for the truck, but to wipe away their tears of disappointment. I mean, when your truck can't even beat a Ford F-150 in payload capacity, that's gotta sting. Remember when Mercedes told us the G-wagon was the king of off-road? They said it could go anywhere, tackle any terrain, and probably climb Mount Everest if you asked nicely. Well, turns out even royalty can have an off day. There's this video that went viral a while back. It shows a G-wagon stuck in the desert, its wheels spinning helplessly as it sinks deeper into the sand. Not exactly the unstoppable force Mercedes bragged about, right? Now, let's talk about what Mercedes promised versus what we actually got. They said the G-wagon had exceptional off-road capability and could master any terrain. But when it came to soft sand, it turns out the G-wagon's fancy traction control system wasn't all it was cracked up to be. And those locking differentials they were so proud of? Great for some situations, but in deep sand, they didn't exactly save the day. It's like bringing a fork to a soup-eating contest. Not quite the right tool for the job. Don't get me wrong, the G-wagon's got some cool features, but when you're shelling out 6 figures for a car that's supposed to be the ultimate off-roader, you expect it to, actually go off-road without getting stuck. Alright, let's shift gears and talk about Bugatti. The company that makes cars so expensive, they make your wallet cry just looking at them. Well, Bugatti recently unveiled their latest model, the successor to the Chiron, and boy did they hype it up. Fans were buzzing with excitement. After all, this was Bugatti we're talking about. The kings of speed, the masters of luxury. Everyone expected something groundbreaking, something that would make our jaws drop and our minds explode. I mean, when you're paying millions for a car, you expect it to do more than just go fast, right? But then came the big reveal, and, well, let's just say it was about as exciting as watching paint dry on a really slow day, in slow motion. You see, instead of giving us something new and revolutionary, Bugatti decided to play it safe. Really safe. So safe, in fact, that if you put their new model next to their older ones, you might need a magnifying glass to spot the differences. Now, don't get me wrong, the car looks good, but when you're Bugatti, good isn't good enough. Fans were expecting something special, something that would make their hearts race faster than the car itself. One fan summed it up perfectly. Looks like Bugatti's design team has been out of fresh ideas for the past 2 decades. Ever heard of a car that's more fictional than the Batmobile? Welcome to the world of automotive vaporware, where dreams are big but reality checks are bigger. Let's kick things off with the Volkswagen Blue Sport, a car that promised to be the affordable sports car of our dreams. Picture this, a sleek, mid-engine roadster that could give the Mazda Miata a run for its money. Volkswagen unveiled this beauty back in 2009, and car enthusiasts went wild. It had everything: a cool design, a fuel-efficient engine, and a price tag that wouldn't make your wallet cry. The Blue Sport was supposed to be the people's sports car, the kind of ride that would make you feel like $1 million without spending it. But here's the kicker. The Blue Sport was more than just a pretty concept. It was a fully functional, road-legal prototype. Journalists drove it, praised it, and begged Volkswagen to make it. And Volkswagen said, "Sure, we'll think about it." Well, they've been thinking about it since 2015. That's right, the Blue Sport has been stuck in automotive limbo for nearly a decade. It's like Volkswagen put it in the garage and forgot where they left the keys. Now, if you think that's bad, wait till you hear about the Dale. This three-wheeled wonder promised 70 miles per gallon back in the 1970s, when gas prices were higher than a hippie at Woodstock. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, it was. Enter Elizabeth Carmichael, the mastermind behind the Dale. She claimed this car would revolutionize the auto industry. Investors threw money at her faster than you can say scam. But here's the plot twist. There was no car. Turns out, Elizabeth was better at running cons than running car companies. When things got hot, she did what any respectable scammer would do. She took the money and ran. But don't worry, karma caught up with her eventually. She was arrested years later, probably wishing she had actually built that 70 miles per gallon car for a quick getaway. Alright, let's talk about the Devil 16. This hypercar promised to be so fast, it could probably outrun your internet connection. The company claimed it had 5,000 horsepower and could go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 1.6 seconds. But here's the thing, making those claims is easy. Actually delivering on them, that's a whole different story. When the Devil 16 finally showed up, it was like expecting a lion and getting a house cat. Instead of that earth-shattering 5,000 horsepower engine, we got a much weaker V8. And those custom-built parts they promised? Turns out, they were mostly modified bits from a C8 Corvette. Talk about a letdown. Now, let's hop in our time machine and go back to the 90s. Remember the Vector W8? This was supposed to be America's answer to European supercars. They said it could hit 242 miles per hour and had a twin-turbo V8 pushing out 1,200 horsepower. Sounds awesome, right? Well, reality had other plans. Car and Driver magazine got their hands on 3 different Vector W8s for testing. Want to guess what happened? All 3 broke down. We're talking constant overheating and transmission failures. It's like the car was allergic to actually driving. It just goes to show. Sometimes, the bigger the number, the bigger the disappointment. These companies were throwing around horsepower figures like they were monopoly money. But when it came time to show their cards, they had nothing but a pair of 2s. So, what have we learned from this journey through the land of broken promises and shattered windshields? Well, for starters, maybe don't believe everything you see in a shiny car commercial. These hypercars might look cool, but sometimes they're about as reliable as a chocolate teapot. Remember folks, when it comes to cars, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Sure, it's fun to dream about 5,000 horsepower engines and cars that can outrun time itself. But in the real world, physics has a way of bringing those dreams back down to earth. So next time you see a car promising the impossible, take it with a grain of salt. Or better yet, a whole salt shaker. And hey, why not share your own stories of overhyped cars in the comments? I bet some of you have some real doozies.